Thanks for joining us for No Wine in No Time. I'm your host Dave, and today we're in city center Bordeaux, France. And we're right outside of the Cite du Vin, which is a museum dedicated 100% towards viticulture in this prestigious area. When we step inside this ultra-modern building, we'll learn all about how the ancient Romans and Phoenicians brought grapes to the area and how that's transitioned to modern-day France. As we continue our tour of Bordeaux, we'll make our way up the Medoc, where we'll be sampling wines and visiting chateaus in the prestigious area of Pauillac and also Margaux. So I'm glad you joined us, and I look forward to continuing to share Bordeaux. Okay, so we've made our way up to Pauillac, and we're right now at Chateau Pichon Baron, and I am thrilled to be with Margaux. She is telling us a little bit about what makes the specific terroir of this particular vineyard so unique. Margaux, would you share that with us?
Yeah, thank you first of all for coming. This is Chateau Pichon Baron. Here we have 73 hectares of vineyard, of course mainly planted with Cabernet Sauvignon. We have a very nice terroir that we've been purchasing from Chateau Lascombes at the end of the 17th century, with very deep gravels, sandy as well to drain all the water, and of course limestone and clay underneath to have a natural storage of water. This is a very unique terroir for one of the best Cabernet Sauvignon around the world.
Absolutely. And you took us at a tour through your vitification area, and I saw some very unique things in there, especially the cold maceration.
Exactly. Actually, we have this very nice facilities that we've been building in 1990. It's around that room, so that permits us to organize all the vinification process around this room, able to work as much as possible with gravity. And we have stainless tanks, wooden tanks as well. And of course, we do a cold skin contact maceration for our best Merlot to be able to extract as much fruity aromas as possible.
Mm-hmm. And we were also treated to a tasting. We had 3 absolutely fantastic wines today. Do you want to talk a little bit about those 3?
Yes, of course. Actually, in Pichon Baron, we are producing 3 different wines. Of course, the top label, Chateau Pichon Baron, mostly blended with Cabernet Sauvignon. Usually, this is a wine that has a very high potential of aging with very complex flavor, also aged through 80% new oak. And then we are producing 2 other second wine, Les Tourelles de Longueville, which is a very juicy and fruity wine, approachable when it's young, with a lot of Merlot and Cabernet Franc in the blend, but also another second wine called Les Griffons de Pichon Baron, that is also blended with Cabernet Sauvignon, a little bit more in the style of Pauillac wine, with a high potential of aging as well.
Well, the thing I loved about all 3 of them was they were all uniquely different. All Cabernet Sauvignon at the core, but yet either very approachable, certainly age-worthy for a long period of time, but all very structured and elegant and fabulous wines.
Exactly, and also those wines are very representative of their terroir, because each terroir of our 73 hectares are giving a typical wine, because it's very important to highlight the micro terroir of our vineyard, which is giving an elegant and very balanced wine.
Well, thank you so much, Margaux. We really appreciated our time here at Chateau Baron Pichon, and thank you very much.
It was my pleasure to receive you and to share a little bit about our wines with you.
Thank you. So we're continuing our tour of the Medoc, and we happen to be in the town of Margaux. Margaux is an epic appellation for producing Bordeaux Rouge or Bordeaux red wines. And we're currently at Chateau Lascombes, and with me is a wonderful person by the name of Yael, and Yael's given us a great tour of not only the vineyards that we're standing in right now, but also the winemaking process, the cellars, and the chateau itself. Now, one of the things that makes Chateau Lascombes so interesting is your large footprint in Margaux. It seems like you have quite a bit of vineyard land compared to some of your neighbors.
Yes, exactly. We have like 120 hectares, so it's all in the Margaux appellation. And so it's 120 hectares, but it's not all together. So it's very spread out in the Margaux appellation. So it means that we are the biggest vineyard in the Margaux appellation, and in general one of the biggest in Medoc.
Yes, yes. And big is great, but with the exceptional quality of the wines produced here, big is not necessarily better, but your wines are absolutely exceptional. They were really good. So we're standing here among the vines themselves, and this little device here I found to be quite interesting. You know, it's very popular when you talk about today organic farming, biodynamics, sustainable. These are all kind of terms that everybody finds interesting. And while your vineyard isn't 100% organic, these devices allow you to defense against bugs.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about those?
Yes, exactly. So if you want, it's a pheromone cap. So it's just producing some pheromone, which are naturally released by moth, by butterfly. So it will just attract the male, who will come around thinking they are females for the sexual reproduction, but they won't find them. So it's just to attract the male, who will come around thinking they are females and just push them away. So we use this for the sexual confusion. So it's a sustainable way for fighting against the moth without using any insecticide.
Exactly. So that's a great technique, and it's a way that uses a natural pheromone to produce sexual confusion. Something else that we saw when we toured your cellars was how you do extended maceration with actually using dry ice.
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
Yes, so it's a kind of process just before the alcoholic fermentation. So it's called the cold maceration. So if you want, you know, you have the berries into the tank, and we just inject some dry ice directly into the tank. So it's in order to weaken the skins of the berries and so extract more fruity flavors and more color. So it's a pretty long process because it lasts about 10 days. And so it's a dry ice, so it's a gas, so you don't have any water or something like this diluted into wine. But the thing is, you have to re-inject dry ice every day. So it's about 8 to 10 degrees Celsius. So not very good with conversion, so I don't really know about Fahrenheit, but...
No, that's good. That's good. And what you're doing is you're extracting more flavors, more textures, and more aromas. And I think that's what makes your wine so exceptional, is that unique technique.
Yeah,
So the final thing we want to talk about is just Margaux itself. Certainly Chateau Lascombes makes an exceptional version of Margaux, but when we think about where we were at last, which was Pauillac, Pauillac is always called the most masculine of all the Bordeaux wines, while Margaux is the most feminine of the Bordeaux wines. And it's interesting, when we talk about feminine, the French don't look at their women as weak, they look at them as complex. So do you want to talk a little bit about Margaux and the feminine nature?
Yes, yes. So as you said, it's not like a weak wine or something like this. It's because it's rounder and softer than some wine from Pauillac, which are very strong and very powerful, very tannic. So when we are talking about like wine from for man in Pauillac and feminine wine in Margaux appellation, it's this difference about the characteristic in general. So yeah, it's like lighter and sometimes easy to drink for women. So it's the reason why it's also called like feminine wine, because it's easier than drink wine from Pauillac sometimes, which are very strong and very powerful.
Well, one of the things that impressed me here, there's 6 noble grapes of Bordeaux. We've talked about that in other videos. This particular vineyard, Chateau Lascombes, uses 3 of the 6, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Petit Verdot. What was amazing to me was front to back, left to right on the palate, these wines continued to express themselves in very unique, very complex ways. I thought it was exceptional. I've really enjoyed my time with you today, Yael.
Perfect, me
and
too.
I thank you for coming on. And for everybody out there, thanks for tuning in. Tune in next time, and soon you'll know wine in no time.